Hi. Well, this morning I am going to be working on um, the person who is driving the reindeer sleigh. And oops, let me get that out of the way for you. I had to learn my own lesson. I started making the reindeer herder. I'm inspired by that picture that's in a guide that I put a link to that you can download. Um, and I made it too small. So what I had to do was take a little of my own medicine and I um, took a picture. This guy was way over here and put it right next to the reindeer so I could. It's almost the size of my characters. My reindeer is a little bit bigger. My character's a little bit bigger. But the bottom line is, if I don't observe my own rules, which is measure and create guides, create models so that you can, and you can see I clip it right up there now and look at it. You go off on the wrong track very easily. So I'll be working on this figure. Good morning, Cindy. So I'm working on a new and larger figure, and I hope, let's see, that's always in the way. I didn't want me to do that. This reindeer herder picture that I have in the little downloadable document in the community area has this person pictured. So I had to redo the person because I had done it way too small. And good morning, Jan. Good morning. Welcome, and so glad you're joining us. So here's the size of it's not finished, it's just the basic start. And here's the size of the person with the reindeer. And just to show again, I took a picture, brought it into Photoshop, and this guy was standing way over here, and I moved him over here so I could print this out at pretty much the size of the reindeer I've been making. And so I'm now putting them on bubble wrap when not being made too, because you'll find out that even if your clay is hard, it causes a flattening on one side if you don't put it on some soft surface like bubble wrap or foam. But anyway, I've got a lot of moving parts here, and I thought I would continue to work on this figure this morning. I put a block of clay in my crock pot, and just to show you, this is Siobhan. Let me turn my radio down a little bit here. Pause it. I couldn't hear myself talking. I had my radio come on. Sorry about that. So I put it in the crock pot, and you can see it's very nice and easy to, if you can see this well, easy to cut apart and get all mushed up so that you can add it to your sculpture. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to just, and I could cut this all up in pieces. And additionally, besides the crock pot, I'll put that there. I also have some of my, and this is my older clay, a few pieces that are warmed up on my plate warmer here. So I have my warm clay and put that together. This is an older batch of clay that I wanted to use up before I go on to my new shipment of clay. Let me get that where you can see. Hopefully, you can see everything as I go along here. Me and it's hard to do it all. I'm thinking there's something missing here. Let's move this back. There we go. Now you can see it. So anyway, this person is sitting on this sled, and I wanted to get the basic posture. And let's see if you can see this. The basic posture just started. Oops, it's hard to see how the camera's going to see that. And it's a very crude, primitive face. But what I wanted to do is just get it so I can start to build it up and not be off the mark in terms of size. So I know I have to add a lot of bulk back here. So I'm just going to go ahead and start doing that. And this is modeling clay that requires mold making to go on top of it with like a rubber mold. So you make it into some kind of material that's more durable in the end. But it's so much better to do really good quality sculpture and not just models, but what I would call sculpture using modeling clay, because if you don't like something, you can always change it. And you don't need armature. If you really know what your end result's going to be, only need armature where it's absolutely necessary. And then you can embed the armature after you have it started. So this clay gets very firm and holds detail really, really well. And you just need to heat it up a little bit to add to it. Even not, you know what? I didn't even heat this morning to add to it. So it just adds to it just fine. It's very firm, which I like. So I'm going to just add some bulk back here so that I have this ready to go on the sleigh. And I'll go back and detail all this cloth. And let's cut some more warm clay off here right now. This clay is a couple years old and still just as good as new. So if anybody has a question as I'm moving along here, oops, please, get my picture back. Feel free to ask questions, because that's what I'm hoping we'll be able to do in these sessions. They're 15 minutes long a piece. I'm so glad to see someone coming on board. And I did giftware for the sculptures of giftware for the fine gift industry for over 30 years. So I have a lot of knowledge, but I don't remember everything I know. So if you want to try to pry it out of me, and even if you think of a question after the session, please go ahead and in the comments area at YouTube, go ahead and ask questions there. I'll be glad to answer, and then other people can benefit from your questions, which is great. I always forget to ask people to subscribe. Um, I am not doing this I made my living in sculpture for over 30 years. So I'm doing this to try to transmit the knowledge I have. And you can see I'm just with my hands right now, just pressing that clay in. Now, I have found, I wish I could, when I'm doing the super fine detail, have the camera up close. I have found it's hard for me to do the super fine detail from this vantage point, and this camera angle is, I try to move it in, and it's still very, very hard. So after the holidays, I'm planning to see what I can do about getting a second camera, because there's ways to do the live streaming with software so that you can see close up as I'm working. And sometimes it might get a little boring because it takes time to do. You can get the rough figure together like this, but then it takes time to smooth it. Cindy knows this process, to detail it all out and to really get the refined look. It does take time, and it might be kind of boring. That's why you see a lot of sculpture videos where they're doing this uh, advanced timing on it, like what do you call it? Fast forwarding, and then you get to see the result in the end. And I'm just going to be doing live streaming. Not going to make canned videos. And the reason for that, again, is I'd like to be able to answer questions as we're going. And so these are 15-minute sessions, and then you'll see me again on Monday. I'm going to really, unless I'm sick or have a vacation that I'll tell you all about, I'm going to be here and continue making things and going back and forth on the different projects we have. You can see right now I'm just melting that clay in. I started this last night around 4:35, because I knew I was going to want to show you this principle of always trying to have something. You see, I'm staying within my guideline there. I'm not getting going off on a tangent like I did the other day because I wasn't looking at anything. I was just moving along, and I went, oh, I think this is too small. It was too small. And I hope you saw what I had done in the community tab. So, oh, Cindy, thank you. You know, I'm thinking some of the things that are about sculpture that I was kind of lying in bed this morning thinking about, what can I also teach that's kind of obscure and you don't get to learn it in very many places. And one of the things I thought about was teaching how to sculpt cloth. And it turns out that cloth, like if you're making it, like if I were to make the fabric, now this is easy to do because of the way the fabric is. But if you're trying to make cloth on a sculpture, it is not that easy. And there are ways to go about learning how to do it, though. And I think that might be a good lesson to start to show people how to make, how to sculpt cloth. But basically, we're going to set up a model and then have it in the round. And I'll show you how I might approach something like that. You know, just putting lines like that down in a dress is not sculpting cloth. But that's one of the lessons. And then anything we can do where we have a model, and I don't necessarily mean a person, but a model that is either something we can all measure or actually look at it on our own. Everybody has, for example, a cup. Now this is cut off down here because it's going to be over. Actually, I'm going to have to cut way in on it this way, and it's going to be over on that sled. And just hanging off a little bit. And then there's like kind of a quilt blanket tied down there. And then there's a big tie down right behind the character. And the sled is not completed yet, but it will be. So this lady, this is actually a woman. It's hard to believe these people live in these conditions. And getting the back correct, getting the she's pulling one shoulder back, getting all that correct was important to me because I wanted to be able to sort of imitate. Let's see if I can put the position. You can see the position kind of, it's this arm is back. It's got to go back a little more actually. And I can do that and then lengthen that there. And now see, the clay is very hard at this point. So I'll pull that back a little more and maintain the integrity of the back at the same time. This needs to come up a little more. And this is basically what gets you good. If you find some topics you want to do and just work with your hands for the most part, the refinement detail takes a long time, but doesn't teach you like this kind of work where you're just working it with your hands until it is correct. And of course, check it with your proportions that you established in your picture or your drawing. Another thing we should start to work on this year is wings, because wings can be used for angels and all kinds of birds, and just to have a study of wings, a study of cloth, of hair, how to do hair on a figure. There's a lot of things we can do. So I used to do mostly figures when I worked for these different companies. Franklin Mint and Lenox and Danbury Mint and Faces for United Design. Cindy knows about that. So, well, I'm going to stop today. I'm stopping a little early because we have to get ready for a Thanksgiving party tomorrow. But you can see how far I've gone with this, and I'm finally in proportion with the reindeer. His antlers aren't on yet, but they will be. And I will see you all on Monday. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. And Cindy, you're from the Netherlands. I don't know if you celebrate that there, but anyway, we kind of stuffed ourselves yesterday, and then I sculpted. So we're getting places. So I will see you all soon, and please ask questions and tell your friends who want to learn sculpting to subscribe, and they can ask questions in real time right on this show. So I'll see you next Monday at 8 a.m. Arizona time. Thank you. Bye-bye.